Here is what nobody told you when you signed the loan. The number on the paper is not the real cost. The real cost is the apartment you'll settle for because the math requires it. The job in the city you won't take because the salary gap doesn't survive the monthly payment. The house that stays 5 years further away than it should be. The relationship conversation where both of you put the numbers on the table and realize the margin you're building a future inside is thinner than either of you said out loud. The financial system shows you the balance. It does not show you the life. And by the time most people understand the full cost of what they signed at 18, they are 28, and the decade is already inside the debt. This is how you don't let that happen. The actual mechanics, what works, what order, and why most people never get there, not because they lack discipline, but because nobody gave them the right sequence. Step one, know the real number before you do anything else. Not the balance, the real number. Log into your loan servicer, find the payoff amount, find the interest rate, then open any loan amortization calculator and run the full repayment schedule at your current minimum payment. On a $54,000 loan at 6.8% interest over 10 years, the minimum payment is around $430 a month. The total repayment is approximately $79,000. You are paying $25,000 to borrow $54,000. That $25,000 is the designed function of the instrument, but it is also the clearest possible reason why the minimum payment is the most expensive version of this problem. Write the real number down somewhere you will see it, not to punish yourself, to orient yourself. You cannot navigate toward a destination you haven't looked at directly. Step two, know what type of debt you have before you decide how to attack it. Federal loans issued by the U.S. government come with protections private loans don't. Income-driven repayment plans that cap your payment as a percentage of your income. Public service loan forgiveness, which eliminates your remaining balance after 10 years of qualifying payments if you work for a nonprofit or government employer. Deferment options if you lose your job. Private loans have almost none of this. Higher rates, fewer protections, limited options if you fall behind. Pull your loan documentation and identify exactly what you have. If you have both, treat them differently. Your federal loans have options your private loans don't. That distinction is the foundation of every decision that follows. Step three, build the emergency fund before you aggressively attack the debt. This is the step most people get wrong. The instinct, once you see the real number, is to throw everything at the balance immediately. That instinct is correct in principle and dangerous without a financial buffer. Without a buffer, your car breaks down, a medical bill arrives, your hours get cut. You don't have the cash. You put it on a credit card at 22% interest. You have now added a more expensive problem on top of the original one in an attempt to solve the original one faster. Build 1 month of expenses in cash first, 1 month sitting in a high-yield savings account, untouched unless the emergency is real. Then begin the aggressive payments. As momentum builds, grow the buffer to 3 months. The sequence is 1 month buffer, attack the debt, build to 3 months. In order. The order protects the strategy. Step 4, pay more than the minimum every month without exception, starting now. This is the mechanical center of everything. Every dollar above the minimum goes directly to the principal, as not interest, the principal, and every dollar off the principal immediately reduces the interest charge next month. The math compounds in your favor the same way it was compounding against you. Here is what extra payments actually produce on that $54,000 loan. Paying $430 minimum, $79,000 total, 10 years. Paying $600, $170 extra, $72,000 total, 7.5 years. You save $7,000 in 2.5 years. Paying $800, $370 extra, $65,000 total, 6 years. You save $14,000 in 4 years. Paying $1,000, $62,000 total, 5 years. You save $17,000 in 5 full years, 5 years. That is not a rounding error. That is the city job you can afford to take. The down payment that reaches its target before 40. The emergency fund that grows instead of constantly repairing itself. Find the number above the minimum your budget can absorb without draining the emergency fund, then automate it. Make it the default, not the decision. The loan servicer automated the minimum out of your account. Automate the extra the same way. Step 5, refinance only if it makes sense, and understand exactly when it doesn't. Refinancing replaces your loan with a new one from a private lender at a lower interest rate. If your credit has improved since you borrowed and your income is stable, this can save tens of thousands of dollars. The critical condition: refinancing a federal loan converts it permanently into a private loan. Income-driven repayment disappears. PSLF eligibility disappears. Every federal protection disappears. If you work in the private sector, have stable income, and have no intention of pursuing PSLF, and your credit qualifies for a meaningfully lower rate, the math on refinancing likely works. If there is any chance you'll need federal protections, do not refinance. The rate reduction is not worth what you give up. Step 6, treat every income increase as a repayment opportunity before your lifestyle absorbs it. This is the step that separates the people who escape the debt in 6 years from the people who pay the minimum for 10. Every raise, every bonus, every tax refund. The first question before anything else: what percentage goes to the loan? Not all of it. That's not sustainable. But a rule decided in advance before the money arrives: 50% of every windfall to the principal, or 30. Whatever the rule is, make it before the money is in your account, because money without a pre-made rule gets absorbed by the life already waiting for it. The lifestyle inflation that happens between 22 and 32 is not weakness. It is physics. Income rises, expenses rise to fill it. The loan payment fixed at the minimum becomes a quieter problem, which feels like progress, but is just the debt costing the same while making less noise. The raise is the moment. The bonus is the moment. The extra payment is how you move through it. Step 7, know what the debt is costing you in life decisions, and use that as fuel, not guilt. Fuel. There is a version of this conversation that turns into a shame spiral. You borrowed too much, you chose wrong, you signed something you didn't understand at 18. That version is not useful. What is useful is a clear-eyed accounting of what the debt is doing to your present decisions, and using that accounting to make the repayment feel like what it actually is: buying your decisions back. The $370 extra per month that cuts 4 years off the loan is not a sacrifice. It is the purchase of the city you can afford to move to, the job you can afford to take, the down payment that arrives while you are still in your 30s. It is reclaiming the decisions the debt was going to make for you. That is not a small thing. That is the whole thing. The loan was signed at 18 by a version of you who didn't have the information you have now. The repayment strategy is built by the version of you who does. Know the real number, know your loan type. Build the buffer first. Pay more than the minimum automated every month. Refinance if the math works and the trade-off is worth it. Treat every raise as a repayment opportunity before the lifestyle takes it. Use the life cost as fuel. Do those things in that order. The balance falls. The decisions come back to you. That is the whole plan.